Welcome back to Steel and Vance. These are shots that we continue to show here on the program, Linda, as we search for that elusive idea, plan, program that might be put into play that could help people who are struggling with addiction and homelessness, poverty, and worse.
Yeah, because we've been in a public health crisis for multiple years now. I think it was 2016 when we declared it. We still haven't figured out what are we going to do. Is the push towards safe supply? Is it...
What is it?
Well, that's a good question,
the question.
Right? Our next guest has some really interesting ideas. And I want to show you this photo because this is Guy Felicella, and he's happy and healthy, and he's a dad, and he's got kids. But up in the corner there, you see a photo of him in a different part of his life.
Also, Guy.
When he spent a couple of decades hooked on heroin, overdosed multiple times, managed to turn his life around. And this is one of the success stories.
Yeah.
And he now has a very interesting idea that I think, when I first heard it, Jody, I went, I don't know about that, but I am willing to be convinced. So let's bring in Guy Felicella, who's now working with the BC Center for Substance Abuse. He's a motivational speaker. You're speaking to kids in high schools. Welcome, first of all. Thank you so much for coming in the studio.
Thanks for having me.
Can you tell us just a little bit, a snippet of how, in your darkest moments, what your life was like?
It was a grind, tough, defeating, dehumanizing, a lot of shame, a lot of pain, a lot of stuff that I was carrying from my past that I really didn't really know why. I think the defining moment was, being diagnosed and,
With?
ADHD, and then also the multiple overdoses that took a tremendous toll on me, and then seeing the nurse that did bring me back to life in tears because it took so long to get me back that she didn't think I was coming back really had a dramatic effect on me. Also, cognitively and physically, I couldn't function as well as I was before, and I just thought to myself that. This is it. I'm either going to die doing this or I'm going to die trying to get out.
Wow.
And so, I went trying.
So when faced with where we're at in this moment and so many ideas being tossed around along with hundreds of millions of dollars, if not billions of dollars, in something that is not working, there are ideas being floated of perhaps offering money to people to pull them from poverty and addiction and into some semblance of wellness. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, instead of involuntary treatment where you're forcing somebody to go to treatment, I just was saying for people who, struggle with poverty or don't have access to funds to pay for treatment, we should pay them a small stipend to access treatment services. And one of the interesting things about that is that, when you survive your whole life in the downtown core or wherever on the streets, you can't bring those survival skills to treatment. But yet, when you go to treatment, it's very hard to be in treatment to work on yourself. It's even harder to be there broke. But we're also not letting them or allowing them practice the other social aspects of life, such as going to the movies, like going to the gym costs money, getting on a bus, like, buying some clothes, taking somebody out for dinner. That part doesn't happen. And so, it becomes really hard and those old behaviors come back. And so people leave.
You're talking about, I think, really small, like $20, a week, a day?
A day, yeah.
A day? Okay, is that enough to make someone who's hooked on heroin or meth or crack or whatever their drug of choice is, and all they can think of is, I need to get the next hit? Would $20 a day make them go, oh, you know what, this is an incentive for me to get clean?
Well, I'd like it to be exactly what the government provided for the CERB. I mean, obviously, when you look at basic income things, they didn't give everybody in the country $600 to survive on because they know that's not going to happen. And so if we could do that, I'm all in favor for that. But I will tell you this, that even a small stipend or accessing, having $600 a month goes a long way, because what people get from income assistance is basically $90. Right. And so buying a gym pass a month. And so buying a gym pass is like $50 a month. So we're not even allowing people to practice self-care outside of a treatment facility, like normal things in life that you start to enjoy again. That's one thing that happened in my life, is that I had somebody that was financially supporting me through there. And when you have that, I mean, I started to be like, oh, this was so fun going to the movies again. Or it's like, oh, I used to remember, like, you know, going out for dinner and having conversations.
Yeah.
That part doesn't exist for a lot of people.
So how did that look? What did that look like for you? You mentioned that you had some financial support throughout that journey. So when you had tried and failed prior to, and you had the epiphanal moment, seeing that nurse who was crying, bringing you back, thinking that you might not, what was different? What was different for you in that really hit the domino? I don't know, Derek, can we put that photo up again? Because when I look at the photo of you before and you with your family, and these faces and your success now and how you use your experience to help others, what is it, if you can drill it down to just a bit, if someone's watching right now going, I don't know how he did it, I can't. What would be the thing?
I think we have many moments that lead up to the moments, you know, like I've never forgotten the people that, you know, were kind, and I've never forgotten the people that weren't. And so for the people that were kind, you know, thank you. And to the people that weren't, like, you know, hey, I forgive you as well, because I think, you know, we've all learned through this journey that things have changed dramatically. And this is not something that was, you know, I never overdosed for 20 years. And then in 2012 and 2013, when the drug supply started to shift, you know, six times in 9 months takes a toll on an individual.
It's crazy.
And so now the drug supply is like 10 times more worse than that. And so when you actually think about it, you know, people are trying, and I don't think we celebrate that people are trying to get out. The challenge is that there's many, obviously, access, but also too, more vital than even going to treatment itself is having a safe landing spot.
Right.
You can't put somebody back in the environment that they're trying to break free from. It doesn't work, and it won't work. And why would you expect anybody to change?
I know this is a big question and a very short time to answer it, about 30, 45 seconds. A lot of people say, force them into treatment, the mandatory rehab. Why won't that work?
Well, it's kind of like, you know, you force somebody into an environment where people are there trying to, you know, be there because they want to be there, and then you're going to have a bunch of people that are going to be there, but they don't want to be there. And now maybe in the short term, they'll follow through the hoops and go through the 3 months. But however, if they use again, they're an extreme high risk to overdose. So instead of involuntary forced treatment, we should offer people who can't afford treatment access to a small stipend. And that, I tell you, many people that I talk to, they're like, they're actually going to do that? And I say, well, I hope so. Like, so it changes a no into a maybe, and then maybe a yes.
We are hoping to have the premier on the show, maybe even next week. So we will ask him. Guy Felicella, it's so nice to see you smiling and happy and healthy, and it's a really interesting idea.
Come back again.
Thank you for helping us keep the conversation going. Thanks so much.
Thanks for having me.
Guy
we got to
Felicella.
say hi to Guy's wife. Say hi to your wife.
Hi, Brianne.
Hi,
She watches
thanks for
us.
watching. Guy is a harm reduction recovery advocate. Thank you so much. Still ahead on Steel and Vance, Prince Harry making the rounds, promoting his bestseller.
And also the Golden Globes.
Well, I know, we're coming up to that. If you're sick of hearing about Harry, the censors seem to have been asleep at the switch for the Golden Globes. Are we okay with profanity on TV in 2023?